was nearing the end of a very busy day, as all the people were busy with final deliveries. Algy especially, because he was busy on his duties for the day. Trevor the Traction and Terrence were busy all day. Trevor was busy with the last few bits as Terrence was done for the night and sound asleep. Don't worry there, Trevor. We're almost done this bit and rest. Trevor, pardon. Algy passed by again with his final deliveries. He admired his traction and he's hard at work. Elsewhere at Nafford, Algy the bus was making his final trip for the day, but he was getting annoyed and cross. He was promised a rest earlier, but then all of a sudden, he had to make one final stop, and Algy was complaining. But the driver assured him that this would be the last trip of the day, until then, till all are one. We all know that, do not we? Don't worry, Algy, said the driver. Everything will be just fine, just this last trip, and then we will have a nice long rest. Algy took his time at first, but he didn't want to be so appalling with all the passengers. He hopped along the road, making sure everything would be just fine passage yards. It was peaceful. It was cool. Passengers kept to themselves. Some of the children in the bus. It was hilarious. Algy started to get a little annoyed. Now, Algy, don't worry. Why are you slowing down? Algy didn't say anything. He kept going slower and slower and slower and slower and slower and slower. The narrator was being manipulated somehow. Then he regained control of the episode. Algy was busy making his time as he was busy hopping along the road and making his stops everywhere he went. The fields were turning from green to yellow as winter was approaching and Uptown was doing its thing. The driver and fireman of Algy were so angry they wanted to press the accelerator, but the accelerator wouldn't listen. The accelerator kept pressing and pressing and pressing, but to no avail. Algy tried his best, but to no avail. He tried as hard as he can, but to no avail. He then roared against this hill, but to no avail. The passengers kept getting annoyed and were worried about seeing their loved ones. The driver finally had enough and pressed the accelerator button. The button would not press, but then all of a sudden, said the narrator, ha 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 ha, it happened, sort of. Algy's accelerator accelerated, and he popped by the house. Algy was going at a tremendous rate, but then something broke inside Algy. Now look what you've done, said the driver. He screamed as loud as he could, but then he regained composure and tried to get control of his bus. Passengers were screaming and complaining, and they were horrified with Algy. Soon, they were approaching the top of the hill. Another piece broke inside Algy. He knew he had to get a certificate recertified for his inspection. He roared over the Savus Bridge. What Algy didn't realize was that there was another road construction and the fact that there was some oddities going on. Algy and his driver were not informed of this as they didn't know what was about to happen. But then, Algy's driver saw something reflective on the road. Oh no! Sang the driver in horrified confusion. He applied the brakes of Algy the bus. Then it was too late and he crashed through the wall and into the field, right by the house. Algy felt embarrassed, and the passengers were fed up at this moment. Now look what you've done, Algy, said the driver. It serves you right. It does serve you right what you've done. Algy felt terrible and did not know what to say. He felt ashamed as his fronts were bent and his wheels were cracked. The passengers got out of Algy and waited by the field for the next available bus. But then, Algy saw something that caught his attention. Sir Topham Hatt. Algy, I'm very surprised that you were like to crash through walls. Thomas, Gordon, Hugo, Hero, and now you. Interesting as that might seem. You have caused a little bit of confusion, Algy. Don't let it happen again. Algy felt embarrassed and apologized to Sir Topham Hatt. At that moment, Bertie the bus arrived and saw that his friend was in trouble. What has happened to you, Algy? Said Bertie. He was very surprised. I'm sorry, Bertie. I'm sorry. Please, get help. And take my passengers. Bertie wasted no time. The alarm was raised and help was on the way. A few minutes later, Butch the tow truck arrived and came to save Algy. A tow winch was attached to the back end of Algy, as was Butch. And Butch slowly towed Algy out of the field. Make sure to go through the hole where Algy crashed. That was the only way, realistically, that they were able to get Algy out. It took a few tries, and it took well over half an hour, but, at long last, Algy the bus was able, and I mean able, to get free from the wall into the Butch to break down tow truck. The narrator has said throughout this amazing season. Thank you, Butch. You are such a lifesaver. Anytime, Algy. Anytime. Butch was very happy for his friend. Soon, everything was set. Algy was properly secured to Butch for towing to the works. Algy's passengers got inside to Bertie and they nestled inside Bertie. At Bertie connections. The rest of Algy's passengers decided to stay with Algy and ride with Algy, and Algy's driver decided to ride inside Butch's cab to head home for the night. Algy's driver was very relieved. You'll be there for a few days in the works there, my friend, said Butch. There's no wonder. It's always good to get angry, but not in the heat of the moment with your passengers, my friend, said Butch. You are right, Butch. I may be a bus, and you're a tow truck. I mean, it's always okay to get heated in the moment, but not in the wrong time. Oh yes, right moments are fine, but otherwise stated. But either way, it's best that we make our way to the works, my friend. And soon, Butch made it through with Algy home. He was damaged alright, Algy. His fronts were bent, his wheel rims were destroyed, and his bumpers were bent, and some of the windows were smashed after crashing into the wall. Soon Butch made his way to the works, with his friend helped him, knowing that the bus would be in the works for a little while until he was next needed for his amazing opportunity to once again redeem himself.